Hello and welcome to ATech. My name is Akshay and today we will learn what is inheritance in C Sharp. Okay, so in the previous tutorial of this tutorial series, we have learned what are the four pillars of OOP. That is, basically I have given the introduction to all the four pillars of OOP that are used in C Sharp. Okay, so and one of them that is encapsulation that we have learned in a very great detail in the previous video. Okay, so in today's tutorial we will learn what is inheritance in C Sharp. That is also one of a pillar of OOP. Okay, that is object oriented programming, and that we have learned in previous video. Okay, so these are the contents we will be discussing in today's tutorial, that is single inheritance in C Sharp and advantages of inheritance. Now what is single inheritance? There can be two types of inheritance in C Sharp: single inheritance as well as multiple inheritance. So we will see in a very great detail what is multiple inheritance in C Sharp in a later video, but today we will see what is single inheritance, and we will see what are the advantage as well as what are the disadvantage of using inheritance. Now what it says, inheritance is the mechanism in which one type is allowed to inherit the feature of another type. Okay, and second, what it says, single inheritance is the mechanism in which derived type inherits the feature of a single type. Now what all this means, let's just see directly into an action, and for that let's just switch to Visual Studio. Okay, so to make you guys understand what is inheritance, what I will do, I will create one class here. Let's consider we have a class that is full-time employee, like this. Okay, and also another class as a contract employee. Okay, so we'll just take a scenario of a company. Let's just have let's just consider a company can have two types of employee, or maybe more than that, but let's just consider company has two types of employee, that is full-time employee and contract employee. So now let's just see what are the attributes, properties of the full-time employee and as well as contract employee, and what are the methods we can write in both this class to print details of them maybe. Okay, so we know for full-time employee some of the properties will be same. Okay, like employee can have ID. Now what is this? This is nothing but a auto implemented property, and that we have learned in a previous tutorial of this series. So if you guys not aware about what is auto implemented property, or rather what is properties, so please check out my previous videos of this tutorial series. So you guys will understand, and you will understand this better. Okay, because I am not gonna waste my time in creating properties. I will be using these auto implemented properties only. Okay, so string we know employee can have name, either it will be full-time employee or contract employee, they will have this name and ID. Like that, contract employee will also have ID and name. Okay, and we know employee can have salary. Okay, and let's just take that a double. Okay, because there can be a salary in points as well. Okay, decimal format. So salary, like that, contract employee also will have salaries. Okay, now I will take one method here, public void print details. Okay, details of our employee, and onto the console I will give one meaningful message here, full-time employee. Okay, and console dot, I will just give one space here. Okay, so if we take one console write line with empty constructor that will give us a space. Okay, that we have learned everything in a previous tutorials. Okay, so that I will not going to repeat in this. Okay, so id is equal to that id, whatever id it will be coming in here. Okay, or the user will set whatever the id that will be here. We are setting that to here in this console message. Same I want to another console. Okay, that is name and salary. Okay, okay, so similarly, okay, and for before that, let me correct that. Here it should be name and here it should be salary. So similarly, we want this method for contract employee as well. Okay, so contract employee like this. Now let's just go ahead and create both the objects of this both the class. Okay, so first of all, that is full time employee, f is equal to new full time employee, and contract employee, or let's just first initialize these fields of a full-time employee. That is, let's say id is equals to 10, f dot name is equal to Akshay, and f dot salary is equal to 50,000 maybe. Okay, and let's just print the details of that employee. And now similarly, I will create an object of a contract employee. And instead of f here, I will give c here, because we have created that object with the variable name c. Okay, and we have to change that here as well, contract employee, like this. Now I will run this. Okay, so our program is working fine, and what it says, first it has printed that full-time employees, that is id is equal to 10, name is equal to Akshay, salary is equal to 50,000, and another, that is contract employee, id is equal to 10, name, salary, etc. Okay, so it should be space after that, so it is not a big deal, we can give that. But again, this is only one employee I have added. So if I would have a number of employees, then I would have used a for each loop. So okay, so but I was just wanted to show you something. I just wanted to show you what is inheritance. So we will take this simple example only. Okay, but now, don't you think, guys, that all this code that is present in this full-time employee and as well as in this contract employee is somewhat similar, or maybe very much similar? That is, there is a duplication of this code. So this is very bad design for the application, or what we can say, there is a code redundancy which we can reduce by putting this common code that is required by both this class, that is contract employee and full-time employee, in another separate class, and we can make these classes, both these classes, that is full-time employee and contract employee, inherit from that base class, and we can put the common code in that only, and then from that base class, these two classes will be able to extend or use these features. Okay, so how we will see that. Now let's just create one base class. Let's just create class employee. Okay, and instead of putting these properties here like this, and instead of putting these properties here, we'll just move them here, as well as we will have one method here, that is print details. So, and in here we don't do all this, we will just print these messages, that is ID, name and salary. Now I will get rid of this as well, because I have already put that into one base class. Okay, now there is error. Okay, why? What it says, the name ID does not exist in the current context. Okay, because we have moved that code into this class. So now if I inherit, or if I make these classes inherit this class, so as soon as I do that, this error will be gone. Okay, and how we inherit base class? We use this colon, and in front of that the class name which we want to use as a base class. Okay, so this is nothing but now a base class for this method, for this class, sorry. Now this is a base class for this full-time employee. That is, this is a derived class and this is a base class. So now it is able to access those IDs. Okay, and likewise here as well, if I inherit that from employee, so that error will be gone. Okay, so that's how we have removed the code which were duplicated in both these classes, and we have put that into one common class here in employee, and that's how we have removed the redundancy of a code. So again, there is no need to take these two methods here as well. If I comment this, like this, then also it will work, because we have put that method as well in this common class, that is base class. So now if I run this program, it should still work, and for that I will put a name like contract employee here, and here full-time employee, like this. And to make some differentiation between both these, I will change this ID as well as this amount. So let's say contract employee has a salary of 30,000, and if I run this, and let me just give space between these because it is not readable. Okay, so console dot write line, I just give one space between both these messages. Okay, so now it is more readable. So this is nothing but the full-time employee details, and this is contract employee details, and now we are using them, the that is the properties of both these classes, that is derived classes, through base class. That is, we know that both these classes gonna use or gonna need these common properties only, because whether it is a full-time employee or a contract employee, but both the employee will necessarily have one ID, a name and a salary. Yes, there might be a different logic to calculate a salary for both these employees. There can be a different logic to calculate a salary for full-time employee, and there can be a different logic to calculate a salary for contract employee. So now that we will see. So for that, if it is so, then that special properties that only let's consider that to calculate the salary of this full-time employee, there can be only special type of properties and special type of methods that only full-time employee will need. So that only we can put here itself. So something like this, we know we have to calculate the salary. Let's say full-time for full-time employee, there can be a let's say to calculate the salary, there can be HRA, some data like HRA, some data like basic. Okay, we know how is the structure of a salary of an employee. There are house rent allowances, basic, as well as PF also. So that we can take here. But okay, but we will take some of them because we are not discussing here how to calculate a salary, but only what is inheritance. Okay, so we will just take some of them. some of the contents which required to calculate a salary. Okay, I have take this HRA basic, and also I will add okay, so let me add a tax here that we will deduct from that salary. Okay, tax. Now he will have his own method to calculate a salary. Public double calculate contract employee salary. Sorry, it should be full-time employee. Okay, so we know full-time employee salary calculation has some different parameters, so he can have his own method to calculate that, and for that we will return, because we know if we don't return anything, that will give us error, because return type is double. If there is a return type that is valid return type which is returning something, then we have to return, otherwise it gives us error in a very previous tutorials of this tutorial series. Okay, if you guys not aware about that, please just check that what is this method, so what is this method return type. Okay, all these things we have discussed in a very great detail. Okay, so I will return that salary calculation here. So what I will do, I will just calculate this as simple as that. I will make this as simple as that. We just want to see what is inheritance. We don't need to care about what is the actual formula for calculating salary. Okay, and I want addition of both this, and I want to minus the tax from here, like that. Now we don't really care about what is actual formula for that salary. Okay, we are just discussing inheritance here. Okay, so now something like that. Contract employee can have a different logic and a different properties to calculate contract salary, and what that can be, that can be a working days. Okay, like this working days, as well as what is the per day that is set by the company. Okay, what is the per day of an employee, that can be in double. Okay, so per day, but working day we know that will be in a int, that will not going to be in a decimal. Okay, so we don't say that is 2.5 days or 3.5 days. We said that is 3 days, 4 days, that is 4 days working. Okay, so, or let's just take that as a double as well, because sometimes employee take half day as well. Okay, so that is why. And how to calculate salary for that? Let's just take a correct name here, contract employee. Okay, calculate contract employee salary, and what can be the formula? Working days into per day of that contract employee salary, of that contract employee. Okay, now there is a common code between this full-time employee and contract employee, and this contract employee, and again there is a special properties that is specific to only that class, that employee, that we have taken inside that only, inside that specific class only. So that's how we can do also. This is called nothing but a specialization. This contract employee is a specialization of this employee, as well as this full-time employee is a specialization of this employee. Okay, so now we know we don't have to give salary here, because we are calculating that for the specific employee. Okay, so instead of doing something like this, we can do f dot salary, f dot calculate full-time salary. Okay, like this. We know this method is returning a salary, so we will take that in one variable, or what we can say, or what we can do, we can take this f dot salary, and we can store that salary which is calculating from this calculate for full-time employee salary. That is this method is getting, that is this method is calculating the salary, and that we are returning to that property. Okay, so that property is here, is in here in employee base class, but there is a special but there is a special method that is only specific to this full-time employee, that is in this full-time employee. Okay, so that's how we are calculating salary, and we are storing that to this property salary. Okay, so now same thing for contract employee as well. For salary, we will calculate that salary using that method, that specific method of a contract employee, like this. And now if I run, okay, right now it is giving 0. Why? Because we have not provided that value as well, HRA and basic. Okay, so for that we know this employee, we have taken that property that is basic, so for that you have to provide the value. Let's say basic is 9,000. okay, it is 90,000. okay, so 99,000, and let's say HRA is equals to 4,000, and let's just say tax is equals to 200 rupees. okay, and same for contract employee, we know there are parameters to calculate a contract salary, that is working days, that we will take a working days at 30, and that means these many days the employee has worked in the company. okay, so and the per day of an employee is, that is per day of working of an employee is 700 rupees. And now if you run, okay, so salary of this full-time employee is 12,800, and salary of this contract employee is 21,000. okay, yes, there is a lot of difference between these salaries, because full-time employee should be having more salary than the contract employee. That's because we have taken very less amount here. okay, so not a big problem, just take that as a 20,000, maybe 20,000 basic, 12,000 HRA, and we will deduct only 1,000 as a tax. So again I am repeating, this is not a correct formula. Even there can be no tax, because we know there is no tax up to 5 lakhs as now. okay, but again it is just for the sake of simplicity I have taken this. okay, so I will run that. okay, so this is full-time employee salary and this is contract employee salary. And now if you have understood that what is the common code between this both these employee, that we have put inside this employee, that is this employee base class, and whatever the specific code they will need in their classes, that we have put in their classes itself. okay, like this. And there is a specific method which is required by only contract employee and full-time employee as well. okay, so that we have done. So this is nothing but a advantage as well, okay, of using inheritance, that we can reduce a code redundancy here. okay, so and again, now this is nothing but a single inheritance. As you can see here, we have inherit this contract employee from single base class only, as well as this full-time employee from single employee only. Now what if I would have inherit them from multiple base classes? Let me do that. Let me try to do that. Let's just consider this contract employee having already a base class of an employee. Let's just try to inherit that from another base class also. Let's just try to inherit from that. Let's just try to inherit that from full-time employee, like this. Will it allows us to do that? No, it will not allow. What it says, class contract employee cannot have a multiple base class employee and full-time employee. That is why we use multiple inheritance in C# using interfaces, that is through interfaces. Through class it cannot be possible, that is multiple inheritance through class is not possible in C#. And why? That we will learn in a later video. as well as we will see what is multiple inheritance and how we can use that through interface. And also we have not yet learned about what is interface, so that we will see first, and then in later videos we will learn what is multiple inheritance in C#. Okay, so don't worry about that, but for now I will remove that, and this is nothing but a single inheritance in C#. Now there is again one thing I want to show you guys. Okay, let's just consider this base class have one constructor, public employee, like this, and let's just give one message here, console dot write line okay, and let's just give a simple message here like base class constructor called, or we can say is invoked. Okay, and like that we will take constructors in these derived classes as well, but not an employee constructor, but the full-time employee, that is constructor of that class only. I have just copy pasted this to just save the time. Okay, okay, like this, and here we can say full-time employee class constructors invoked. This is full-time employee class constructor is invoked. Okay, and like that we will take contract employee as well, one constructor. And again guys, we have learned what is constructor in C#. At that time when we have learned what is class and struct in C#. So if you guys not aware about this, please check that video first, because it is very important to know what is constructor and why we use them. Okay, that all we have discussed in a previous videos of this tutorial series. Okay, so if you guys not aware about that, please check those videos first, okay, in order to understand this better. So contract employee class constructor is invoked. Now we know there are three constructor specific to those classes only, that is this employee constructor for this employee class, and similarly both these classes have their own constructor. Okay, now here we know we have created this object of this derived class, that is full-time employee, F is equal to new employee, as well as this contract employee is equal to new contract employee. So now let me run that. So if you guys have noticed what it says, the very first line, that is base class constructor is invoked. After that there is a full-time class constructor invoked, and all the operations that are performed, and after that base class constructor is again invoked, and after that contract employee class constructor is invoked, and all the operations of contract employee are performed. If you guys noticed, we have never explicitly called this constructor, that is this base class constructor, neither we have created an object of this base class, that is employee class, but it is still invoked two times, that is both the times, that is every time whenever we are creating this derived class object. So from that we can say, whenever we create this derived class object, the base class constructor is one which is getting called at the very first, that is this. We have not done something like that. Okay, let me do that as well. Okay, so if I create a constructor, that is if I create an object of this employee class as well, that is this base class, okay, like this, and if I run, okay, so no doubt it is invoking that constructor now, because we have created that object, but after that there is another base class constructor is invoked, but we have not created an object twice, we have created only one object, and when we have not even created that object, still it is invoked. From where? As soon as you create an object of this derived class, so through this derived class constructor first called this base class constructor. And why? Because we know there are properties which we have put, that is common properties which were needed by both the full-time employee as well as contract employee. So now to initialize these properties, there is a need of constructor in a base class itself. So whatever the reason or whatever the way of creating this object, but this derived class object needs the properties that is kept inside this base class. So that is why there needs to be a base class constructor. There needs to be a calling of a base class constructor first, and that's what it is doing. Now we know again, if we don't provide any constructor explicitly, so we know at that time compiler provides a default constructor. But why I have explicitly done that here? Because I wanted to show you, and I have print that message here because I wanted to show you that base class constructor gets called first, whatever the reason it may be. Whatever the reason or whatever the circumstances may be, base class constructor will always be called first, always be invoked first. Okay, so and that is nothing but a single inheritance. Now we will see what is abstract class in a later video, but before that, and also how we can make a base class as abstract class, and why we have to do that, why we should do that. So we will see that in a later videos, but in this very tutorial it is enough to know what is single inheritance. Okay, so this is nothing but a single inheritance. Now what is advantage and disadvantage of that? And I have already told you that there is a reduced code redundancy. Okay, that whatever the common code that were shared by both this full-time employee and contract employee, we can put that in one common class, and that's how we are reducing that code. There is a redundancy of code. Okay, so that we have reduced. So that is one advantage. There is a code extensibility as well as code readability and code reusability. Now what is that? Now we know we have these common properties, and these common properties are getting used in these full-time employees as well as this contract employee. Now there is a reusability of that code. So that's what the advantage inheritance gives us, as well as there is a code readability. Now this code is more readable. If we would have put all these properties in both the classes, that is this full-time as well or this contract employee as well, but this is not a readable code. There is a code redundancy, there is a code duplication. Now this code is more readable than that in comparison to that. So that is why that's what the inheritance gives us advantage as well, that is code reusability. So there is again a code extendability. Now what is code extensibility? That we will see. Let's just consider, as I have taken one method here, that is this public void print details. But what if these derived types want to provide their implementation, their logic to print details of this employee, details of the employee? What if this derived type wants to provide their specific code, their specific logic? So for that, what we can do, we can make this method as a virtual. And now what this virtual method does say, if this derived class, if these derived types want to use this implementation, they can use that. Otherwise they can override this implementation. This is nothing but overriding. So how? We will see that. Let's just copy this method from here, or else what we can do, there is already a method here which we have commented. So that is why I have commented that, I have not removed that. Okay, so let me uncomment that. Now what it says, there is a green squiggly line. What it says, full-time employee print detail hides inherited member employee print details. Okay, so it is now hiding that method because your base class has already a method which has the same name, that is print details. So what it says, that green squiggly line, full-time employee hides inherited member employee print details. To make the current member override that implementation, add the override keyword. Okay, so that's how, if we override that like this, so now we can give our specific implementation to that. Now we know there is a differentiation between this method. This method has these two console lines, that is extra console line. Okay, and in this method there is no extra console lines, that is something like this, that is these console lines, that is full-time employee, and this empty console line. Okay, so likewise I will uncomment this method as well, and it again throwing, actually it is not an error, so that green squiggly line only gives a warning. So again, if there is an intentional override, if there is a overriding that is intentional, then just use this override keyword here. So that's how we are overriding the base class method, that is this print detail method, and we are providing our specific implementation to that, like this. We are overriding that method. So this is nothing but overriding in C#. Okay. Again, don't worry. We will see in a very great detail what is overriding and what is the difference between overriding and overloading, as well as there is a method hiding concept as well in this C#. So that also we will see. So don't worry about that. We will see that in a very great detail in our later videos. But coming back to this concept, okay, so now if I run, okay, so let me give a curly brace here, and we know we don't need this curly brace. Okay, and let me give correct indentation. Okay, so for that we have to press Ctrl KD. Okay, so now it is looking good. So let me print that. Okay, so let me remove that message from there. When we have copied that, so it is get copied there. Okay, it should not be something like this. It should be employee class. Okay, so again in main method, okay, so there is everything fine. Okay, so everything is fine. Now we will run. Okay, so employee class constructor invoked, that is base class constructor invoked. Again there is a full-time class constructor invoked and full-time employee. Now if you see, it is getting that method, that specific method of printing the details, that is this full-time employee, and for contract employee, this is the method. Whatever that we have kept inside that method, that is specific methods of that full-time employee and contract employee to print the details, that is this full-time employee and this contract employee. Now we are giving the specific implementation to that. So that is also and that is also the concept of overriding, and this is nothing but a single inheritance. And again, and that is nothing but a code extensibility that, which gives this, which is the advantage this inheritance gives us. Okay, so now what are the disadvantages? This increase the coupling between base type and derived type. Change in base type will affect all the derived types. Now if I change or if I comment this, what will happen? It will throw an error in this as well and in this as well. So that's what this point says. Increase the coupling between base type and derived type. Change in the base type will affect all the derived type. So for that we have to be very careful, and we should know why we are using inheritance. That's what the third point says. Wrong use of inheritance may lead to the complexity in the application. So for that we should understand how to use inheritance. As a beginner, we should be able to figure out that there is a certain relationship between these classes to use inheritance. That is, we know employee can be full-time employee and employee can be contract employee. So there is a certain relation between these. So only in that situation we should use inheritance. So that is why wrong use of inheritance may lead to the complexity of the application. And what is the second point says? Inherited methods execute slower than the normal due to multiple indirection, and that's also we have seen that derived, as soon as you make the derived type object, so that derived type object first invoke the base class constructor, and that's how there is a initialization of fields. So there is a multiple indirection. So that is why inherited methods execute slower than the normal due to multiple indirection. Okay, so now let's just quickly see the summary. What it says: inheritance allows the derived type to use and extend features of its base type, that we have seen. Inheritance is said to be a single inheritance when there is only single base type for derived types, that we have seen. When we have tried to inherit that from a multiple base class that have thrown an error. And why I have told you, because multiple inheritance is not possible with class in C#. That we have to use through the interfaces, and that we will be learning in later videos. And before that we have to learn in a very great detail of what is interfaces, so that we will be learning in later videos. Okay, so now what is third point? When there is a common code between two or more types, and as well as if type shares some kind of a relationship amongst them, then we should use inheritance. And that's what I have told you just now. If there is a certain kind of a relationship and we have to figure out that, and then only we should use inheritance. Otherwise it will only provide, and it will only increase the complexity in the application, and that we should avoid. Okay, so now that's it for today, and we will meet in our next part of this tutorial series, and we will learn what is abstract class in C#. Okay, so till then, stay tuned and thank you.